Hey everybody, how's it going? Today's video is kind of an update. I'm really excited to share that yesterday I got phase 1, I'm calling it, of my memorial tattoo for Sarah done on my left calf. So at the very end of this video, I will put a picture of that so you can see it. Essentially, it is her tattoo that she got on her shoulder of her favorite bird, the kestrel, done by the same person that did hers with a slightly different coloring. And so I was really excited to get that. And the guy that did it, Nathan, he is like family, so he did Sarah's, and so it was a really special moment getting that tattoo done, and I'm excited to add on to it. So I'm starting to work on ideas on what I want to do to make that tattoo grow into a bigger, more meaningful memorial. So that'll be fun. As far as updates go, I'm doing pretty well. We are in the heart of some of the worst times that we went through, and where things really turned upside down. Our world's turned upside down last year. So these next few weeks are pretty tough, and there's been a lot of emotions for me and the kids as we go through these times. And you know, the move makes things even more emotional. Definitely had moments of tears and stress and frustration and sadness, and all somewhat balanced by some positive changes and good things, you know, and family, being around, being helpful, being positive and supportive. And it's been really wonderful having family and friends around to be supportive while we go through, you know, what was the worst times of our life, just 1 year later. And you know, it's hot and sunny and very memorable. Like, it all kind of triggers those feelings, and kind of that, I guess, that muscle memory of, you know, survival and trying to figure out what's next. And by this point last year, we were on a pretty clear path as far as what was going to be happening in regards to Sarah's death. And you know, last year, the 4th of July, we spent in the hospital and watched fireworks. Sarah, myself, and Teresa, her sister, we watched fireworks through the window. And then relatively soon after, Sarah and I had a discussion with the palliative care team and what the in-home care team would do to help us and support us. And had just had the discussion with Amelia and Braden about whether we should do hospice care or not. And we were in the midst of doing radiation, where the radiation oncologist and his team opened up office on the 4th, was it the 4th of July? It was, yeah, on the 4th of July, for us to go get, so Sarah could get radiation. And it's just, there's a lot, there's just a whole lot of stuff that happened right around this time. These are like Sarah's last clear moments of her life last year were right within this week. And it quickly, as soon as we got home and finished radiation, it quickly turned from being clear and wanting to do the next steps to not being able to respond and sleeping a majority of the day, and having to talk to the in-home palliative care social worker and learn and realize the reality was hospice next, and Sarah's eventual death, and meeting with lots of different nurses and saying goodbye And so we're at a really hard part of this year, and lots of people that have been through this say next year is just as hard, if not harder. And we've kind of been working to just take it day by day, and there's no expectation of today's going to be harder than tomorrow, or this year's going to be harder than next year, or anything like that. I've got no expectations of how emotionally draining this is, and it's going to be just trying to really focus on today, the now, while respecting and celebrating history and what we had, and celebrating Sarah, and making sure that her memory is part of our daily life. And I know we do the be kind and make good choices, and that's part of our daily life. But we really try to outwardly recognize Sarah's impact on our life, on our personal life, on our behind the scenes from the YouTube's life. And so I'm constantly making sure to do bedtimes in a way that Sarah used to do, and make sure that we're doing songs that mommy sang, and keeping the camp songs alive in our family, because that was big part of our relationship and what we wanted to give to our kids. And so while this time is hard and emotional, it's also a time where we are making a intentional attempt to be positive, and to look at all the good that is in our life because of Sarah. And it's one of those things that I think we struggle with as humans, as emotional creatures. The idea of moving on, moving forward, or living life. And we've, for Sarah, intentionally been looking at right now, looking at what's next, and those times that we look back behind us, not focusing on what we're missing, what we've lost, what we aren't going to have, all the things that Sarah's not going to do with us. We aren't focusing on those things. We're focusing on what we can appreciate, what brings us joy, what makes us happy. A really wonderful person in my life often says, you choose your own happiness. And I think this is a really, really good outlook on life, because no matter how hard things can be, and with Sarah, I learned, and her, all the medical stuff and the cancer stuff, I learned that it can always be worse, and it always happened to us through that roller coaster. We had doctors saying, oh, it's not going to be so bad, and then it ends up being worst case scenario. And each time they gave us a little hope, it was crushed over and over again for the years that we dealt with that. But throughout it, and I didn't recognize it in the way that I am now as I'm intentionally thinking about it, but throughout that, we definitely chose to live a happy life, as happy as we could. And that didn't mean ignoring the hard things. That didn't mean ignoring the bad things. But it meant that instead of dwelling on the fact that Sarah had cancer, and that there was a chance that Sarah would die because of cancer, and that our time was going to be cut short, instead of dwelling on all of the worst case scenarios and wondering, what if, we really focused on now, focused on our kids, focused on trying to make good memories and on positive relationships and focused on our family and trying to bring people together more often and doing things together. And I think one of the best gifts that Sarah left us when in her life and after she died is the ability to not necessarily see the positive in every situation, because there's not always a silver lining, but to make the best of right now and to live in right now and to love our family right now and to never end a communication or walk away upset or angry or frustrated with somebody else, because right now is what we have. And so Sarah gave us a huge gift of living in the now, choosing to be happy, and making sure that our love is known. It's funny because even when upset, or me and Braden are frustrated or just had like an argument, or he or I will always say I love you. And some people may feel like it's said too much, but in our life and our experience, even when it's just it feels like a hello, I love you has so much meaning behind it. And it's like saying everything is okay and I'm here for you, even if we don't agree, even if things aren't going how we want them to, even if we're sad, I'm here for you and it's okay. And so Sarah really, really left us kind of a beautiful gift in how we came together, how our partnership worked, how we raised our kids, and how we worked together. And it's pretty amazing now to have just a simple phrase that, goes with what we've been trying to do all along through all of this life, and that is to choose happiness. And I think that's pretty beautiful. So yeah, I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to talk about on this video, and so I just kind of decided to start talking. There's been a number of people that have asked if I can show the house, do a little tour, and I'm not going to. And the reason for that is the safety of my family. And we had an issue with some trolls and a stalker, and doing some not so amazing things, because when you start sharing that kind of information, you can find where a person lives. And so unfortunately that's not going to happen this time around, because I want to make sure that I'm keeping my family safe. So I apologize. There won't be any pictures, there won't be any videos, any tours of my home, which is kind of a bummer because it's fun to do, it's fun to share. And this is one of those cases where a few people ruined it. So I apologize to everybody. That would have been a fun thing to do. So without further ado, I am going to jump off of here now, and there's a picture of my tattoo that I'm gonna tag on to the end of this video so you guys can see. If you never saw Sarah's tattoo that was on her shoulder, it's the same tattoo, just the coloring's a little bit different. So with that, have a wonderful day, morning, night, wherever you are. Remember, be kind, make good choices, and I will see you later.